Hi, so this Robert Merritt with my last video of 2019, or at least for the last full race video of 2019. I'm calling this the full version because it's going to be basically every lap like 30 minutes long. So if you don't want to watch this one, drop down and look for the edited one. As I normally do, I'll stop and start my narration depending on what's in the clips that we're looking at. So there's several introductory shots here, starting with this one. This is race 1 Saturday morning, where Troy and I finished in front of John and Jay, which is a little unusual.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jay.
Alrighty, and for your first place, race number 1, Pro Formula Mazda driver, Troy Tinsley.
And you probably recognize my lovely wife, CairyAnn. Thanks so much for taking such great videos and for the pretty trophy you helped to pay for. And if you look close here, you see the trophies are different. These are for the year, for the series championship, the Formula Car Challenge. And that's John in the middle, who won today because poor Jay had a DNF, and then me in third place because I can't catch them yet. And emphasis on yet, guys. Turn the audio down on this clip because you couldn't really tell what anybody said. You can see we're laughing though, and they're trying to direct me around to get me in the middle here for the presentation. And again, this is for the 2019 Formula Car Series Championship, third place overall. Congratulations to John and Jay. I threw this in here because Northern California, November fires, it was crazy. And then this track map is where CairyAnn's shooting video from and to. A is being turn 1 and 2, B over cyclone, and C is the last turns. And this is from the last turns as we're coming around to get started. Where CairyAnn's having to shoot from, she can't really get the front straight, so this is kind of the back straight and the final 2 turns before we go on to the front. And this is in-car video, obviously, which I'll talk over most of this. I didn't get the best start. I don't think I was in the right gear. I don't know, maybe just being conservative with it being the last race of the year. But didn't stay up there with the car on the right, yellow car, which is Troy. And he's in a Pro Formula Mazda just like me. And then the red car on the inside right now is Teo. And the black car that I wasn't expecting to go by is a Swift Formula Atlantic, 300 horsepower, much bigger car, bigger tires, and not surprising he went by me. I didn't even realize he was behind us, so I guess I wasn't paying attention. That's a bad boy. This is the first time over the top of the Cyclone, which you'll see some exterior video of us coming down the front of it right here.
Swift got by Robert.
Okay, back in the car, turn 6, same first lap, and I'm following Teo, Troy, and the black Swift, sorry I don't know his name, right in front of me. And basically just kind of getting the tires up to temp here, the rest of the way up to temp, and seeing what things are going to look like. I'm pretty sure I can get up to Troy and Teo and pass them, or at least pressure them a lot. But I'm kind of waiting for this black car to go on by. He's much faster than the 2 in front, and it's a little crowded up there, so basically just kind of biding my time and enjoying myself. And that was the exterior shot of Area C on the track map, and the exterior shots that CairyAnn just shot, and end of the first lap here, and we'll come around on the front straight here. I feel like I'm about to pass the Swift. He made a couple mistakes there, but just too much horsepower once he gets the car straightened out and going here. And we're passing the start finish. I'm kind of even taking a little look just to make him look. But again, there's quite a few cars right there in front. The track's not super difficult to pass on, but there's only a couple really good spots. Going around turn 2 here, we'll come out of this, take a right, and then we'll head back up over the top of the Cyclone. I'm pretty sure I'll have another exterior shot of that. I don't know that I've mentioned it, but this is the first time I've been to this track, so I am being a little more cautious than I might be, 2 or 3 times here. Here we go. So CairyAnn got a real nice shot of us coming around turn 6 here, and as you can see, it looks like I'm fairly far behind, but when you're in the stands watching, the cars are a lot closer together than it appears from this video. And you saw him take a look down the inside of Teo there, and he kind of messed up that corner, and again put me right behind him. We're all kind of stacking up behind Troy right now. But the Swift is going to help us out here, and I think he does it right here. Yeah, he kind of bounces off the inside curb, scares the crap out of Teo, and allows me to go by Teo, and of course catch right back up to the back of the Swift again. So I figure, well, I'll let him tow me on up here to Troy. Troy kind of got away from us a little bit, as you can see up there. Picks up right where we left off from the external shot. So this is the final 2 turns. I'm still behind the Swift, and Troy's right up there. And as I mentioned, I figure the Swift and I'll probably catch up with Troy. I know the Swift will, so I'm pretty sure he'll pull me along with him. And turn 1, beginning of the 3rd lap. Again, it looks like I'm pretty far back, but it's not quite as far as it looks. The fisheye lens on these in-car cameras can make the interior shots pretty distorted. Notice the G-force meter there on the right side of the screen. Almost 2 Gs in several of the corners here. It's a pretty high-speed track, pretty high-speed corners. I was doing some things right in that section we just went through, and over the top here I was catching a lot of people. Troy in particular was doing this corner better than me and getting a good launch out of here.
Go baby go. Catch up to him.
And you probably heard CairyAnn, my wife, encourage me. Thank you, dear. I'm trying. And as you saw, we're not really as far apart as it looks. I think Swift's getting held up a little bit right here. The black car by Troy. Yeah, definitely. He was way too tight there trying to sneak around Troy. But of course, I caught right up to him. Troy was doing this particular section about the same as I during most of the laps. But as we come in here into this turn, that was turn 9, so I think this is like 11 and 13, 14, whatever the final turns here. Troy has a little bit lower gearing than he and I discovered looking at our videos, and he was really pulling out a nice little lead here in this section and around these 2 turns. But then from here through turn 1 and 2, as we'll see, I was catching up with him. I think the Swift is going to finally get around him here in this into turn 1 here. Let's see. Yeah, he's looking, but I don't know if he got around him now. I think I just gained ground on both of them a lot here. And now we're into turn 2, and the Swift wants to go by, but he just can't get there. And I'm like, come on, get by so I can trace Troy down and pass him. As you'll find out later in the race, and Troy already knows, that doesn't quite happen. I keep chasing Troy down the rest of the race here, but never can quite get around him. just not confident enough in a couple spots in the track.
Come on, baby, you can get them.
I left this in native audio there for a little bit. As you can see, I about ran over him coming through the kink here before we went over the top of 9, and then thought I was going to get past Troy right there, but couldn't quite follow the Swift through. Troy has really good acceleration, and right here, good launch out of here. You see he's pulling away from me, and I don't know if it was the gearing or my technique, a little bit of both, most likely. And then, as I mentioned before, you'll see us come around here in this section of the track, which are the final 2 turns onto the front straight, and turn 1 and 2, which again, where I seem to make up a lot of ground on Troy and the rest of the race. And again, as we're back around by the Cyclone after turn 2 and 3 here, Cyclone's technically turn 5 in the B section. That's where CairyAnn has the exterior shots. You'll see I'm right behind him here. And as I mentioned before, and you could see and hear, I was kind of eating Troy up through turn 1 and 2 and into the Cyclone. And for the first few laps right here around that kink and coming in here, turn 9, I was right on top of Troy. But right there at turn 9, Troy was matching me at the least. Into this corner and around the next turn we were pretty even, and then he would just pull away here into the final 2 turns before the front straight, and that pattern just kept repeating itself time and time again. And so obviously I need to learn something from him, and vice versa. I did loan him my videos so he could watch. And race 2, whole nother story, we'll talk about that later. I end up going off track behind him and don't really get to stay behind him long enough to see what all he learned. And we're coming around turn 1, 2, we'll go around the Cyclone, turn 5 I believe it is, and you'll see it will be right behind him, but I'm really just not able to turn that into a successful pass. Again, being a little bit conservative here. This is the I think 18th and 19th race of 10 or 11 different weekends this year, and I'm wanting to send my mechanic Bob Morris home with a car that's in one piece, and Troy and I are buds, and I'm just not being too aggressive, which is probably a good thing. I think I just locked up the rear wheel, almost running in the back of Troy there. I think you heard my wife, and I probably said the same thing in the car. Whoa, a lot of blue smoke as I locked up, trying not to run into the back of Troy. But now, as you can see again, We went through turn 6. Troy messed up a little bit here or there, and I catch up right behind him here, but I just can't turn it into a pass quite. I'll get a couple more good launches out of 6 there and almost pass him into turn 9, but I just wasn't confident enough at turn 9 and 2 cars going through side by side. In retrospect, looking at the videos, it's quite doable, particularly with Troy, who's quite trustworthy. But again, no reason to push it. I think I've got another race in the afternoon, race number 2, and then I think I got another race on Sunday. So just having fun, not worrying about exactly where I place. I think my lap times, I actually, as you can see here, my fastest lap of the day is a 1:47.8, which is 2 seconds faster than my qualifying, which wasn't that good. It still puts me about 2 or 3 seconds behind what John and Jay, the leaders, did in the race, but that's actually quite good for my first time at this track to only be that far off of them. So I'm pretty happy here. Race 1. Maybe I'll pass Troy, maybe I won't. We'll try some native audio here coming up with this next clip, and we'll go from there. If you watch the rest of lap 7 there, I had a pretty good lap time, 1:49.7, and probably one of my best chances to pass Troy going into turn 9 there, but like I said earlier, I just wasn't confident enough to stick it in there. I wasn't confident enough of the contour and the shape of the turn that both of us could go through side by side, but in retrospect, could have easily done that with Troy, or anyone else for that matter. It just doesn't look like it, because it looks a lot like this right there. You can't really, it's blind as it can be. This view, in fact, from the in-car video is much more comforting and better looking than what it actually is. Looks like I'm going to get a pretty good run on him here again. Let's see what happens around turn 9. He was kind of, Troy and I talked about this, so I'm not insulting him. He was kind of hacking that turn up at the beginning of the race, but did a lot better there, and I think he does pretty much the rest of it. He's doing this corner a lot better than me. I could just never really pull anything down here on him, and a combination of him having a lot of experience at the track, I think, and then also, whoa, oh, this is the 8th lap. Yeah, you saw all that wiggling around. He goes through almost a full lap here of just having terrible wiggles like that, and almost pass him again. That'll probably come up here in the next clip or so. And this is just a refresher memory on the track. The diagram is in the video.
Boys, play nice now.
Come on, baby, get Troy. Come on.
So you could hear my mechanic Bob and my wife CairyAnn both getting pretty close to Troy, and they're thinking I'm going to get by him. And going back to what I was saying, Troy went through one lap here, and neither one of us really know what happened. We talked about afterward where he was just all squirrely and allowed me to catch up and get really close. I think I'll go into turn 9 here again in a minute with a really good chance at passing him, and he was going to give me room, but kind of repeat what I said earlier. We never quite happened. I am catching him. Yeah, there he goes squirrely again here, and no real reason right there. Neither one of us can figure out what was happening. I don't know if his tires were weird or he got him over hot or what, but it was interesting. He settled back down the last few laps. I think we do like 14, 15 laps, and the last few laps he was fine again, so we don't know what that was. And we're coming up here to the Cyclone again. I'll go to native audio.
He's gonna make a mistake.
Yeah, you could see they're coming over the Cyclone very close and going into turn 6. It looks like I'm going to get a good jump on him. He makes a little mistake there in turn 9, and I think I'm going to go and past him here, and basically I just chicken out right there. we could call it something else, but that's probably what it is, just chickening out, not wanting to damage the cars. And anyway, so all of a sudden he pulls away, or of course he pulled away because of the failed pass, and I catch back up to him and repeat, rinse and repeat, or something like that, whatever it is, pretty much the same the rest of the lap's over. We'll probably go through them all. I'll probably save them all, so Troy, I can give him a copy of this and he'll study it and I'll study it. Maybe between the two of us we can figure out what each other was doing wrong. Both of us improve. Catch up and beat John and Jay one day. Okay, maybe not likely. Yeah, it looked like I was going to get him there. I got a better launch out of turn 6 than I have, was right behind him, but he did turn 9 much better than usual, and I kind of screwed up turn 10. That next steep went over the top there, and so here we are again. I guess I'll catch him again over in turn 2 right before we go over the Cyclone. Alright, because that's like 3, 4, or 5 by the time I'm actually right behind him at the Cyclone. Back to native audio. quiet there because I was watching the lap, and it's probably my second fastest lap. I think Troy needs to teach me how to do the second half of the track, and I got to teach Troy how to do the first half of the track. It's a little oversimplified, of course, but here we are at coming up on the Cyclone, turn 5 again, and I'm going to be right behind him. I'm thinking here, getting back to the racing part of this, that okay, this traffic's going to help me out, maybe hold Troy up, and I think as we come out of turn 6, that's true. We'll watch it native. And as you probably could tell from CairyAnn's Exterior shots, it does help me out a little bit. I'm right behind Troy coming out of turn 6 there. Almost run over him there. Here we are, turn 9. And as I mentioned, Troy just, he knows how to do this part of the track, and he just leaves me. Damn it. Good job, Troy. Let's see. Yep, here we are. I didn't miss the apex that time. I was missing it earlier. But right here, he's quite good out of this corner and around these S's, and I'm just not doing it right. Don't know what it is. But we'll have fun next time here. Let's see. I think I'll do some more native audio now. So I'm taking a bit of rest there. This is the last lap coming up, and I've closed up on him. This might be my fastest lap of the race. I can't remember when I did the 147, but even the 148.9 is not too bad. Anyway, traffic here, last lap. I'm up pretty close behind him, and thinking I might get a shot at one more shot at passing Troy here. But a lot of cars all of a sudden, so maybe they're not going to help. And here coming into turn 1, I kind of get stuck behind the behind the Star Mazda car. Troy's in the Pro Mazda. And then there's some blue smoke. Somebody went off track or something. I think we'll get an exterior shot of it. Right in front of Troy. That probably didn't make him feel too comfortable here. But I'm thinking I might have a shot here at him in this last lap. And yeah, I double checked. This is the last lap, and I am awfully close, awfully in good shape here, right behind him. And 2 full G's that way, and almost 200 brakes there, right behind him here. If I can just get a good launch out of 6, I think I might pass him going into turn 9 here. But as I mentioned earlier, Troy was struggling a little bit earlier in the race, but on this lap he does a pretty good job here with turn 9. A little bit wide on it, a little bit of a lift, but he knows his last lap and knows I'm not going to do anything crazy, and so from here on in it's pretty hard to pass anybody. without a big mistake. And so I'm thinking fine. Oh, I know what forgot earlier. Troy and I didn't know it, but we're first and second, and so both of us might have tried a little harder if we had realized that. I'm sure I would have stuck it in there a little earlier, so probably just as well we didn't know. What Troy and I didn't know is that Jay had a DNF, his car broke, and John had gone off track and was actually behind me, but there were so many cars running and all. I didn't know it, Troy didn't know it, and so probably just as well, as I said earlier. Figure we're going to have race 2 this afternoon. That'll be fun, and probably a third race on Sunday, although things do change with that. Yeah, thumbs up, Troy. Great job. Really improved as we went through the race. This is only his year into the car, so he's still learning a lot. This is us enjoying some food and drink beverages on Saturday night. At this point in the evening, we finished race 2. The championship is over. Formula Car Challenge is done for the year. And Troy and I are going to run the 5-mile track tomorrow, but the fires and freezing cold weather put a stop to that. I'll talk about it more when I show you the race 2 video, or at least my 4 off from this weekend.